And it may seem like, oh, you know, they came in and they just looked up in the right place and got it. It's not always that way. I've had documents that I've looked at for years, and it was right there, and I didn't see it. Right? This is your hands-on, because you need to really train your eyes a little bit. You want me to give you a clue?
Choritas is the name?
Coritas.
C-L-A-R.
No, C-A-R or C-O-R. No? Nothing? Okay, lay your papers up. Let me see what I see.
Wait, looking for?
C-H-A-R. Caritas.
I see C-H-A-R, then I see L-O-T-T-E.
Not sure. What?
Right.
No.
That's what I see.
Okay, let me see what the documents you have.
Yeah, Clarissa. But no. Yeah, Clarissa.
Okay, she shows up. She shows up twice in your documents.
Right, looking at this one.
Okay,
Don't
tell us yet. Let's another try. Let's see.
I'm gonna give you 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't read this one.
Crumley.
She shows up on 2 documents. What's her name?
Carissa, C-A. That's Charlotte Crumley.
Any thoughts?
You read it?
She was looking at this, she could find anything. She just looked at this there.
Wasn't it easy when I did it up on the thing where I just did Delmida and I did Donadell and
Did you get this from the microfiche?
yes.
Does it show how hard it is to read these?
And it's hard to read them, and I have to apologize because I took a picture of it. It wasn't from the printer because the printer's not working right now, but I took a picture of it. Some of those though are documents I got before, like that document I got before the printer broke.
What's her name?
Her name is Caritas. Coritas. Caritas. Okay, you want me to give you a clue? Okay, let me see your documents. She shows up in these 2 documents.
Also, I read the wrong one altogether. Okay.
Really?
All right. So let me give me this one. Now. I lost mine.
You read it.
But this one can't read this. So she ain't.
Okay.
I don't know what you want me to do, you know. Realize that not all the documents are in English.
Yeah, exactly.
They're in Danish. These are the documents that we need to deal with as we move forward. Anybody have any clues? I gave you the 2 documents you said.
Is it at the top and middle?
Okay, in the census document, you really want me to tell you where she is? Census document, she's at the bottom. In the probate document, she's in the middle. Can you see? She's in the middle.
Well, left or right?
Middle right.
You said in the census document, she to the bottom?
She's at the bottom.
Wait, is this in
Sure,
English?
it's the same
No,
name?
it's in Danish.
Yeah. Danish. No, right?
Oh. He has found it in the probate registration of 1821. Her name is spelled that way, Charitas, Caritas. This document indicates. Are you ready for me to tell you about her life, or you want to find the other one?
Yeah, it's here.
Huh?
It's not it?
Yes. You want me to tell you her story now?
Yeah.
So the documents you have in front of you, let's start with the documents that had nothing to do with this family at all. The Recorder of Deeds filings. This is for the sale of the property of Frenchman's Bay, Mulatto Bay, Renners, situated in Frenchman Bay Quarter, right? It is selling the dwelling house and all the things that are on the property, as well as the animals. There are 88 sheep, 8 cows, there's a bull, there's 5 heifers and a calf, there's a horse, a mule. It continues in the back, and it names all the enslaved persons living on the property that will be sold with the property. This is in our Recorder of Deeds. So when you are looking, sometimes you'll find this information. If you know that your ancestor lived on this property, go look at the property deed. Because it might have them by name, and in this particular case, by price.
This
How much
your
they're worth.
Gabriel?
Huh?
This your Gabriel?
No, it is not. I don't have any family that I know of in the Frenchman Bay Quarter yet. Right? But there it is. Right? So know that this is in our Recorder of Deeds. And we have these records here. Okay, so once you start honing in on a location, okay, then this other document, okay, so the other 3 documents are documents that have her history in it. First document I found was this document. I know it's hard to read. At the very bottom. So this is the 1841 census, right? It is the unfree living in St. John and Estate Adrian. Okay, Estate Adrian, a very large plantation, extremely large. It was owned by the government at one point, but by very wealthy persons, the Nevilles and so forth, throughout its history. Right? They kept records, major records. Like, you can't see the person's name. I think his name is Martin. He's African. He's 60, and he received 15 lashes for stealing sugar. No, we don't know if he was really stealing sugar, but he received 15 lashes.
And all that's on there?
All of that is on there. This is a census record. They kept copious notes, right? So you see all of that is there. You also see that he belonged to the Moravian church, and he was baptized. Oh, Martin was not baptized. He did not belong to any church. But you also see baptism, the Moravian church baptized 1815, 1806, and so forth. You see that they're married, right? For the women, and these are all men, but for the women, you will see how many live children they have. It lists that. And it also lists what type of job responsibility they had on the plantation. All of that. You also see whether they're good, indifferent, or otherwise. And then you'll see that they have 30 lashes, or they have 15 lashes, or confined for one particular reason or the other. It's all on the census. Okay? So we turn it on the other side, because this is a long document, right? And at the very bottom, so they have 51 males, 52 females, 103 persons in this census. And then right below that, there is Caritas. She's there by herself. And she is belonging to Lucy Williams. She's the only person, and that's because she does not belong to this plantation.
What Caritas is?
Caritas is
Over
all the way on the
Jacob.
bottom.
The bottom says Jacob Andrews.
Turn it over.
Yeah, you have to turn it over.
On the other side?
Yeah.
On the bottom, by herself. You see her? What's her name ready? Carbitas belonging to Lucy Williams. One person, female. St. John, 30 years old. Y'all see it? You got it? Okay. So, she is working on this plantation. She's leased out. Right? Lucy Williams does not own the plantation. But to make money, she's leased out Caritas. Everybody got that? This is a free colored census of 1831. Slavery ends 1848, right? This has Lucy, and she's carrying both names, right? So she's carrying Creaky in this particular regard. Lucy Creaky is on the free colored census. What does that tell you? She was black. She was colored. Okay? And she owns Caritas. So here's that document, right? And it tells you how old she is, how many children. It's in Danish. I can't translate it for you like that, but it does tell you that information. Okay? It does say she is from Tortola but has lived in St. John for 20 years. Okay?
So, so Lucy owned Caritas?
Yes. So now, let's go to the last document. It is a probate document. It is indeed in Danish. It's 1821, right? Because I wrote that down on the paper, right? But it also says Anno 1821, in the year of 1821.
Yeah. The month of September.
Date was September 12 or something.
Yeah, right. I'll let it the top first sentence right there.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can read Danish.
It looks like English, but they all come from the Germanic
Right.
languages anyway. So.
And you see the name John Creaky. We're going to just skip to names. This is the probate registration for John Creaky, right? What this document indicates is that he is, upon his death, freeing his slaves. Everybody good with that? On the top of his list of slaves, Lucy Williams, Lucy Ann Williams.
Wow.
But remember we saw Carita's name in here too, right? So he frees Lucy Ann Williams and gives her and her son all the rest of his slaves.
Yeah.
So that they may support themselves for her entire life.
So that's how she became. That's how Carissa became. a
That is
slave,
how
yeah.
Lucy went from being a
A
slave
slave to
or
an owner.
enslaved person to an owner of slaves. Right? There's always a story. But you have to find the documents. They're all there. And we're more fortunate than those stateside because we can find the documents like that. These documents are also available right here. At least some of them are
On microfiche.
on microfilm.
Microfilm.
Yeah.
And
Some
that
of
is
them
my
are.
frustration, going on the microfilm. It's
Yeah.
very, just to
After a
print
while,
tape even.
what you do is you name a machine, your name. Like this is a Nadine machine, it's not working right now, so I moved over to another machine, right? And you just have to be patient. Sometimes I've sat here for hours
Not get anything.
and not find a thing.
Yeah.
I also, though, want to say that someone, and a lot of this research has been done by an awesome researcher named David Knight. He, and Leal will tell you, he is awesome.
Yeah,
he
he
has
is.
been collecting this information for a very long time. And for a fee, a small fee, he will provide everything he has in his desk. Like $100. Everything he has in his desk. If you wanted to do more research, then of course that's a negotiated type price. But for $100 consultation fee, you know, it will get you started. Just like I got him started on his Dalmida people, right? Because he has documents at his fingertips. Other things will take research, and research is often underestimated, I have to say, because people think it's so easy. But see how we're looking? I own this document. I made copies of this when that machine was working years ago. I'm looking, couldn't find her. Then I saw a census document with her in it. I said, she's living when Caritas becomes free, she's actually living in Lucy Williams' house with her husband. Right?
With Lucy's husband or with?
With her own husband.
With her own husband. Right? And she's there living. Right? So it takes some time. It was years I'm looking at, and I have this document at home. This document is online. I believe this census is, let me see which one? No. The 1835 census is online at our website, at the library's website. And I'm looking, didn't see her. And then just like how y'all are looking, you see that? I went back to the document, I looked again, and there she was, and I saw Lucy Williams' name. So I called David and said, David, do you know Lucy? Do you know Lucy Williams? It sounds like she's somebody who's living, right? Do you know Lucy Williams? His response to me was, oh, I know Lucy.
Wow.
Okay? I know Lucy because she's tied into the Blyden family. And she's tied into the Creaky family. And she's so tied into a lot of different families that he was able to pull the document. This document in Danish, I may have skipped the document completely, right? But it's right there when you look at the document. So, the challenge for you is that I challenge you to start off and do your own research. And I'm here to answer questions. If you have questions with regard to the ones that I am aware of or a document that you could go to. But I challenge you to start to research. Next week is July 3rd. And instead of looking at it as, and I love St. John Carnival, but instead of looking at it as a day off or a day for St. John Carnival, we need to maybe look at and understand their experience in 1848. Were they apprehensive? We have talked to somebody in 1917, Ms. Sue, let's say people were apprehensive at the transfer. It wasn't all celebration, but it wasn't all fair either. They were just apprehensive. They don't know what's coming next. It's going to happen regardless of what. It's done. The deal is done. What's going to happen? So in 1848, a lot of them fought for their freedom from before. But what's going to happen? And then, if you were a slaveholder, as you see, many children came off of both areas of society. What does that mean for you? Are you going to go bankrupt? Are the people going to walk off your plantation? Where are you going to, how are you going to pay now to get this plantation tilled and so forth? What are you going to do? It was an uneasy time. Would all these people turn around and rebel or something like that? Where were you going to find housing if you decide to leave the plantation? It was an uneasy time. And a time of, okay, I don't know what I do. Or a time of, we're leaving, or a time of, we're going to stay, or for both sides. So as you research, think about your family members. If they were here in the territory, what would they have been doing? And they may have been doing both, on both sides. So I want to thank you for listening. And I'll entertain any questions if you have questions, but thank you for coming.
Yeah, I have a question. I have a great-great-great-grandmother born in 1848, and I want to find her parents or where they were from.
Let's start with her
Is
last
there-
name. Does she have a last name?
Yes, Ludwig. So is there a general, so when I go in 1848, is there just one microfiche? I just have to go through the whole
I think there are two. Did she live in St. Thomas?
St. Thomas down street?
Then there's one. microfilm that you're going to look at. I would venture though, in 1848, they registered them all as free. She may not be carrying her last name yet. Or maybe she did. Was she in Savon?
No.
Did you have an address of where she is at?
Yeah, right. Okay, there's one more passage, right behind the one more passage by the Spanish Bar. That's where she lived.
Okay, so you can zoom right in because you know the address. You can go online onto the microfilm. It will say, the box will say Come Princess Garda because we started writing on the boxes, and you will see it. 1848. It's 1840. She was born 1848. So you're going to look at the 1850 census.
Go to the
She'll be
Caribbean
2 years
census.
old. Okay. Remember that if you're looking in the United States census, the 1920 census, you have to estimate that the person is 3 years
Younger. Yeah.
younger than
What they have.
census,
Yeah, what they
because
have.
our 1917 Danish census became the 1920
20, yeah.
U.S. census.
Absolutely right.
One question now, you had a census of there for 1857, didn't you? So Danish censuses were,
They did 1850, 1855, and 1857 or something like that. But they would do them when there was some kind of something going on. So our legislation changed,
Yeah.
or
I
they
think
saw
they
a
had
lot
like
of people moving.
1841, and I think they had 1845 or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
just like
with
whenever they
1846.
said, yeah,
They didn't do one in
1846.
1840, but
Yeah.
1841 and 1846.
1846, yeah.
So we have the list here, so you can see which ones are there. It will tell you exactly which box to go to. And I think you'll find her
so
pretty
now,
easily.
in 1850, I would find her being 2 years old, and it would also list her parents.
Estimated. She would be living with somebody. Estimated. So it's not always that they indicated the exact age for one reason or the other. In fact, my fourth great grandmother, she's either born in 1812 or 1812 or 1796. Varies in age from census to census. I know it's her because her children were with her. But it may have been when she was baptized or when she arrived here or something like that. She's African born, so the ages vary. But I'm sure you should be able to find her in 1850 in that location, since you figure she's born in that house, and you'll see her parents or whoever is raising her. At that age, she should be with her parents. And you'll see siblings if there are any older siblings. Okay?
Okay.
I think somebody else had a question on that thing somewhere.
Other questions?
My question was, you said that they lived together, but you said she was left all the slaves that were on the plantation.
I'm sorry. Say that over again.
Lucy Williams.
Uh-huh.
And in the probate document, it says that the owner left all the slaves with her.
All his St. John slaves. He had a large holding in Tortola.
But you said that your relative lived with her. Did the other relatives not, the other slaves not live with her? It was just.
After they were emancipated,
Or
this
she
was the
continued to
only,
stay there?
she continued to
Got it.
stay in
That's what I was
Coos Bay.
asking.
Yes.
Like, why she continued, you said she was living with her husband, why would she continue living? And then you said in another document, Lucy's last name was listed as Creedy.
Yeah,
So was she the
because-
child of the plantation owner, and that's why he
No,
favored her?
she took
and-
on, he called her Lucy Williams in his document. She took on the Creaky name after that.
Okay.
She
Is
decided.
it fair to assume, or to say
To
that she?
assume that she was going out with Mr. Creaky, I would say I would fair to assume that that's the case.
No, I was saying it was his child.
No,
No, it's the same, they're the same age, so you're saying,
they're close in age, not the same age. She's younger than him, but
but not young enough to be the child.
Right.
Old enough to be a partner.
yes. And he, in all his admiration, provided her with all of these things. He didn't call her Creaky, he called her Williams, so that is not his child. Any other questions?
You said the 1835 census is online? You said?
Yes, it is, the free colored 1835 census
Yeah.
is online. St. John?
St. John.
St. John.
Yeah.
I don't know that they, 1831, free colored is in our microfilm for St. Thomas.
I can show you where that is if you're interested.
What is the race of, say like, you talk about the Darnadale coming from You said Portugal?
They're Italians.
Italian.
They came with the Ferraris.
So were they slave owners, and how did the black people get the name Donadell?
They were slaveholders. In the matricles, you will see Donadell, and you will see that they own property and they own slaves. But they may have also, Martin Brower may also have been black. I didn't check. She's out of St. Bart's, and you see them in St. Martin as well. He may have just had a mixed relationship.
That's really young.
The Sephardic Jews of Bordeaux.
I have a question.
No family,
Is
family
it-
now.
Go ahead.
Is it possible okay, my last name is Jacobs. Is it possible for me to trace back to Africa Jacobs?
You can trace back to Africa, probably not Jacobs.
Okay.
So you will be able to see the African ancestor.
Understood. The reason I ask that is because someone said they can trace back their name, someone who's alive now, back to the homie,
Very few people could do that.
their last name.
It's possible. I think more.
And,
I
and I just want to know the likelihood of it
It's
being
hard.
accurate.
I
It's
want
hard to do.
I
Because
want to
it's so many
caution.
generations
Yes.
and so many
Yeah.
names, name changes, and
I think some names people, I don't know how they get away with it. For example, I've heard the same kind of story, like Sewer.
So in Canton,
Yeah, and
Canton.
Canton, exactly. Those you could probably just go mail, and just take the name right back to Africa.
Except that Soa, we have
And
people
then spelling is
arriving.
different.
We have people arriving from Europe with
With
the
the same
name
name.
Soa, spelled the way that we spell it today.
Yeah. And in Africa it's spelled
so
different.
this is why I
It's kinda
question
hard.
the claim.
Yeah, it's
you know?
kind of hard.
Because
There are some, but they did not carry the name all the way through. They carried the name from Africa and was allowed to do it because let's say there were 5 Nadines on the plantation.
To
They might
clarify,
have,
yeah.
to clarify, they would have named them by their tribe, right?
This is
those two families at Canton and Sewer, there have been Cantons from here and Sewers from here who have made the connection back in Ghana.
But
okay.
again, I say that you also have to be careful because
Yeah.
we also see Suas arriving from Europe with the same last name, and they are not from Ghana. Same last name spelled the way we spell it today, not
Could have been
Sowa.
slaves that were taken, because remember now, Israel was scattered throughout the whole world.
I understand, but I'm just saying, right, that you have to be careful as you step forward. It could be possible. Canton
Yeah.
could be possible.
Well, they
Could be
went
from
back
China
and
too.
they went back and they
Canton,
talked to
China.
them. They went back and they talked to them, and things added up, correctly, both Sewers and Canton. Because I've spoken to them, and they've gone back and they were able to make the connection.
Well, that's good. I haven't done that part yet. I have my African ancestors.
That's the only two I know.
I'm looking, I know that she speaks French, not
See,
English.
The thing is, right, did the record show when they were leaving Africa that their last name was Sewer or Canton?
See, there's lots of different types of genealogists and
The-
family researchers.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no.
tell you,
No,
truth, truth, truth.
I'm
Listen,
serious about it.
This is your response.
I think you're on point. I think what happens, I think some of us choose a shortcut. Because my name is So, and I go to Africa and somebody have So, I make the shortcut and say, oh yeah, you my family because but we came from the Danes who over here, and they came to the Danish West Indies, so they don't even go through the tracing of anything. So they can't tell you that the one who's in Africa, his great-great-grandfather is the great-great-grandfather of all of us. They just do a shortcut and say, oh, I'm So. You're So too. Oh wow, family, yeah, because they came from over here. And I think that's what happened with a lot of those who the claim, I don't think they go that she's saying. You're going to end up several different ways.
Well,
Yeah, because-
the ship's records on slaves are pretty, believe it or not, could be pretty accurate as
Yes, but
what
we are not saying-
nationality and what religion they are, and they,
That's true.
because they
True.
look on
But-
most of the on slave ships, and they'll show you that most of those slaves that came here were Hebrews. And it's listed right on the line.
Well,
But
okay,
no,
here's my answer to your
I have
question.
seen some manifests where they just they list the names of the slaves, but no last name.
Okay,
That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I was saying, he asked a specific
Chobo,
question.
Yes.
If it's on the
Boy,
document.
all the names are there.
okay, so this is what
And the
I want to
ages,
tell you.
but
This is
no last name.
This is the answer that I'm going to provide to you. There are different types of genealogists. And as Leal indicated, there are those that will look at your face and say, wow, you look like so-and-so, right? And say, yes, we are related that way. There are genealogists like me that need to see a document that link this document to this document to this document. And there's
Absolutely,
people
right.
in between that, right? So
Hi,
my
is
aunt
your
could have
phone
told me
You
a
have a
story,
message.
and she's told me lots of stories, but I will not record that story in a sense until I find a document that confirms that story. So I will listen to the oral history, right?
Well, that's
Now, as far as documents are concerned, the best document for that is the Moravian Church records, because they will go back and outline. The manifest, you're right. If they name a name, that's all they name in the first name. And that's the name they've given them, right?
But
Or
Nadine, I
it will
had trouble.
name boy or girl.
Yes, they didn't have even a name. They
Some
just
of
had
them were named
males and
Girlie.
females.
So Nadine and Leal, in your research, have you seen any documents for Africans coming over that have both names? That have a first name and a last name?
No.
And a last
Not me.
name that's not a
I
European.
didn't come across any.
You haven't found any that have both?
No.
Not one.
So
I think
when
that's
you-
what you're asking, if
Yeah.
it exists. So
Yeah,
if you're
I-
saying you've never found a document that lists
I've never
anything but
found
a
one.
first name.
I guess
So
I haven't
because based-
researched enough. Like I'm old.
Based on my own knowledge, I couldn't wait to ask you this question because based on my own knowledge, I know the manifest when they came on the ship, they just had one name and the age and the gender.
But some of them had no name.
Some of
All
them
they had
had
were
no name.
boys,
Right.
X amount of
Or they put
boys,
an
X
X on
amount
them,
of girls,
whatever.
male, female, yes, but had no name.
And some of them would say what tribe they're from or what country they're
If they
from.
pick them up from a particular area, they will say these are the Igbo people.
Mhm.
They've picked up 10 Igbos, 10 Igbo males.
Right.
They will do that too. But names with a last name, no. And as I said, the document that would show that information is the Moravian records that will then say this Igbo female is this amount this year. They call her now Clara. Her name was, and they will say that. So that is the only record that I've ever seen that identifies all the way through.
Or you-
Any markings that she may have or he may have.
I did a history on last names and when did people acquire last names, and people originally didn't have last names. Last names were given to, like in Europe, if you belong to this particular lord and he was his shire was this,
Right.
then your last name was that.
Or
That's
your
what last name. But as far as for Africans is concerned, it's very, very, very
What you
unclear
would
to
be
show
named-
when last name started.
So what you would be is the first child of John, who is the son of this person. That is how your name would be, right? When you arrive here, first child, the name first child is a specific name. And then they're given another name, and so they just relate back to that.
So many of those Africans got on the ship didn't have last names. Didn't have last names.
That's my point.
When you were doing your research, did you research African
They were
naming?
like
Or
they
that
were called,
process?
or they were called sewer. You know, and that's what they were called because that was that clan or that family name. Remember, Africans didn't give out names. They're very superstitious in giving out names. Okay,
Yeah, they would
didn't do
name
that.
you
Yeah.
first child, da da da.
Yeah. So when you saw that, see, that's why
Child
that's
born on Monday.
that's a very
Yeah.
popular name.
Yeah, that's why
Sewer
my name is
That's
in
what-
Canton is a very
Quaker.
popular name.
See, now it's easy when you go to Africa you go crazy looking at the people because you've seen people that look like people in St. Thomas.
Well, you go all the way to the Caribbean and see people. You go. I know people in the States look like people here. I mean, that's just a characteristic
same thing,
of
same
there.
thing, same thing. So I'm saying it's easy to adapt and say, hey, that guy look like me. Have a bald head just like me.
And then
You know?
especially to have the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're at least if the songs are like,
Sound.
you know, if the songs are like, you say, wow.
Well, you know,
You must
and a lot of times they could tell by your their physical attribute, because they claim, now they say that a lot of the Africans that went into Tortola were Mandingos, and Mandingos were big people. You know, they were big bone people. You go to Tortola, you see a lot of big people. You see a lot of big women. You know.
And you can
You know.
say that about other places.
So you know they say that,
as well.
and some of these records nowhere because they had a system of not putting too many tribes in the same place, and that came out of the codes that came out of the Virgin Islands. These slave codes that were used all throughout the United States and all throughout South America, a lot of them started right from here, from that 1733 rebellion. That taught a lot of slave owners all over how to deal with slaves. And one of the first things it said is never put too many people from the same
And they tried not
in the
to
same
pull-
way. That's what
they tried not to
happened
pull
in
some
St.
people
John,
from
because
tribes.
when this one particular man came off the ship, who was a prince, they recognized who he was, and they kept quiet. Okay, and so he was able to create this rebellion in 1733 because they kept quiet. Okay, so they learned from that, and from that, they didn't do that. They started taking people from here and putting them here. So when you got here, you didn't even know who you couldn't talk to anybody.
Different
And
languages
then
and
once you were here, and you know, and you were establishing in a generation, and then the newcomers came up, they were hated by the slaves that were here. They hated the newcomers. They had a name for them. They used to have to keep them off of the ones that were been here for a while. They had to keep them off the newcomers when they were in the field cutting cane, because they would kill them because they didn't like them. So I mean, and all of this was because they were able, you know, you couldn't communicate with each other, and that's all of that came from 1733. All over the world came from right here in 1730. That rebellion, 1730. That was the first successful one. That was the first successful rebellion.
That's true.
So that's they learned from
I think
that.
it is fair to say that there is still a lot of research to be done on our history, who we are as a people, a whole lot. And with a question I want to ask you, you said there are all different types of genealogists. I wonder if we can be just arbitrary like that, if there should be some kind of standard way, or because then any and everybody could be.
Genealogy is a major hobby across the world, and different people look at things in different ways. It is all that we can do to be aware of the type of genealogist you're talking to, so that you understand that their information may not be necessarily as accurate as the information you may want to garner. So you get their information and then you say, okay, let me go back and fact check. It's always important, unless you carry on a misconception or a misunderstanding of your family line. The other thing is that, I mean, sometimes it's not a bad thing. I am a genealogist that looks at direct lines. I don't necessarily look at the extended lines.
Neither do I agree.
Right? But your book really talks about extended lines.
But that's on one side.
That's on
Because
one side.
remember the book, the one that's here, I have two family trees.
Yes.
It's two distinct family trees. That's why I never printed it again. Because they were, the two books in that one book relates right back to me. And my mother, my grandmother, and some family members could claim both sides.
Right.
Now, I did it because it was a cost-saving measure.
Right.
Because the company told me, well, you know, you can put both books in one. But then when the family and the Matthias side bought the book, they think that everybody in the book is related, which is not so.
So when we do direct lines, for me, I'm looking for my direct line. I'm looking to understand the story. The way to find that direct line might lead me to an aunt or an uncle or a cousin or something like that. And so I will note that. There are genealogists that like to go and do the whole family on this level before they move to the next level, right? I'm just going up the tree, straight up. So either way is fine, but it's in the documentation that's critical to me. You know, that story sounds wonderful, but where is the documents, right? And so that is where the differentiation comes in sometimes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the direct line of genealogy. But I think you have to have an open mind when you're doing your genealogy. If you have a story in your head that you want to prove, then it can lead to problems.
You have to go about it in several different ways in order to find it. It's not necessarily, I'll tell you, I was looking for Clara in the Catholic records because I knew that she was Catholic. And in my book, I don't know where it is right now, in my book, I have a chapter called Disappearing Families, right? And the disappearing families cover the DeLoyal family. And as I was struggling, I gave up on the DeLoyal family. It's a very short chapter in the book because I could not find the DeLoyal family. I ended up bumping into the DeLoyal family while I was looking for Clara.
It usually happens that way.
So Clara on my father's side, DeLoyal on my mother's side. But while I was looking for Clara, there pops up DeLoyal, and it opened because they're not DeLoyal spelled the way we spell DeLoyal, D-E-L-O-I-O or D-E-L-O-Y-O. They are really Del-Oyo, spelled D-E-L space O-A-Y or double L-O, coming straight out of Puerto Real in Spain, landing here in St. Thomas.